संसार दावा नललीढलोका प्रणय कारुण्य घना घना तुम संसार दावा नललीढलोका प्रणय कारुण्य घना घना तुम सप्तस्य कल्याण गुणानवस्य वन्दे गुरु श्री चरणारविन्दम् महाप्रभु कीर्तन नित्य गीता वादित्र माद्या मनसूर सेना रोमांच कंपा सुतरंग भाजु वंदे गुरु श्री चरणारविन्दम् श्री विग्रहाराधन नित्य नाना सिंगारतं मंदिर माजनादो युक्तस्य भक्तां च निञ्जतोऽपि वन्दे गुरु श्री चरणारविन्दम् चतुर्विधा श्री भगवत् प्रसादो स्वादन्य तृप्ता हरिभक्त संगा कृत्वा तृप्तिं भजत सदैव वन्दे गुरु श्री चरणारविन्दम् श्रीराधिका माधवयोरपारा माधुर्य लीला गुणरूप नाम्ना श्रीराधिका माधवयोरपारा माधुर्य लीला गुणरूप नाम्ना प्रतीक्षणा स्वादनलोलुपश्च वन्दे गुरु श्री चरणारविन्दम् निकुंजयो नो रतिकेल सिद्धे यायालिभिर्योक्तिर्नपेक्षणीया तत्राति दाक्षातिबल्लभश्च वन्दे गुरु श्री चरणारविन्दम् साक्षाद्धरित्वेन समस्त्रशास्त्रे उक्तस्य थावायतेव साध्वी किन्तु प्रभोर्या प्रिययतश्च वन्दे गुरु श्री चरणारविन्दम् यस्य प्रसादा भगवत्प्रसादो यस्य प्रसादा न गति कुतोऽपि यस्य प्रसादा भगवत्प्रसादो यस्य प्रसादा न गति कुतोऽपि ध्यायन्तु वां तस्य यशस्त्रिसन्ध्यां वन्दे गुरु श्री चरणारविन्दम् वन्दे गुरु श्री चरणारविन्दम् वन्दे गुरु श्री चरणारविन्दम् नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामीति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवसादि गौरा भक्तवृंदा। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवसादि गौरा भक्तवृंदा। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवसादि गौरा भक्तवृंदा। Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hariharaya Namah, Krishna Yadavaya Namah, Yadavaya Madhavaya Kesavaya Namah. Hariharaya Hariharaya Namah, Krishna Yadavaya Namah, Yadavaya Madhavaya Kesavaya Namah. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Syamasundar, Radha Syamasundar, Sri Radhe. Jaya Radha Madhav, Radha Madhav, Sri Radhe. Jaya Gaura Hari, Gaura Hari, Jaya Gaura Hari. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Privrajaacharya Astota Shata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Privrajaacharya Astota Shata Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnavavrinda Ki Namacharya Haridas Thakur Ki ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Prem se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktarun की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की वृंदावन धाम की मथुरा धाम की नवद्वीप धाम की जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की गंगा माई की यमुना माई की तुलसी देवी की भक्ति देवी की संकीर्तन यज्ञ की समवेत भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा श्याम सुंदर की श्री श्री राधा माधव की all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to all glories to all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga, Gaura Premanand.
Namaste Narasimhaya, Namaste Narasimhaya, Prahlad Lad Daine, हिरण्यकाशी पूर्वक्षः शीलाटङ्कानखालाये ઈતો નરસિંહા પરતો નરસિંહા યતો યતો યામિ તતો નરસિંહા બહિર્નરસિંહા હૃદયે નરસિંહા નરસિંહાદિં શરણં પ્રપદે નરસિંહાદિં શરણં પ્રપદે તવ કર કમલવરે નખાદ્ભુત શિંગા દલિતા હિરણ્યકશિપુ તનુભૃંગા કેશવદ્વીતા નરહરિરૂપા જય જગદીશ હરે જય જગદીશ હરે જય જગદીશ હરે કેશવદ્વિતા નરહરિરૂપા જય જગદીશ હરે જય જગદીશ હરે જય નરસિંહાદેવ જય નરસિંહાદેવ જય નરસિંહાદેવ જય પ્રહલાદ મહારાજ જય પ્રહલાદ મહારાજ જય પ્રહલાદ મહારાજ જય જય પ્રભુપાદ 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 જય જય પ્રભુપાદ जय नरसिंह भगवान देव की जय जय प्रहलाद महाराज की जय जय प्रभुपाद की जय विष्णु भक्ति वृंदाय तुलसी देव्याय प्रियाय भक्ति देवी सत्यवते नमः जय
नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्ण प्रेयसी नमो नमः। राधा कृष्ण सेवा पाओ ये अभिलाषी। नमो नमः। तुलसी कृष्ण प्रेयसी नमो नमः। ये तुम्हारा शरण लो तारा वांछा पूर्ण हो। कृपा करे करो तारे वृंदावन वासी। मोरा ये अभिलाष विलास कुंजे दियो वास। नयने हरि बोल सदा जुगल रूप राशि। ये निवेदना धरो शकीरानुगता करो। सेवाधिकार दिए करो निज दासी। दीन कृष्ण दासे को ये जन्म रहो। श्री राधा गोविंदा प्रेमे सदा न बासी। श्री राधा गोविंदा प्रेमे सदा न भासी। नमो नमः। तुलसी कृष्ण प्रेयसी नमो नमः। यानि कानि चापापानि ब्रह्महत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिण पदे पदे। यानि कानि चापापानि ब्रह्महत्याधिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिणा पदे पदे Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Tulsi Maharani. Jaya Rinde Devi, Jaya Rinde Devi, Jaya Rinde Devi, Jaya Rinde Devi. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. वृंदे देवी तुलसी महारानी की, वृंदाय तुलसी देव्याय प्रियाय केशवशचा विष्णु भक्ति प्रतिदेवी सत्यवत्ते नमो नमः। वृंदाय तुलसी देव्याय प्रियाय केशवशचा विष्णु भक्ति प्रतिदेवी सत्यवत्ते नमो नमः। वृंदाय तुलसी देव्याय प्रियाय केशवशचा विष्णु भक्ति प्रतिदेवी सत्यवत्ते नमो नमः। देवी तुलसी महारानी की।
O Tulasi, beloved of Krishna, I bow before you again and again. My desire is to obtain the service of Sri Sri Radha Krishna. Whoever takes shelter of you has his wishes fulfilled. Bestowing your mercy on him, you make him a resident of Vrindavan. My desire is that you will also grant me a residence in the pleasure groves of Sri Vrindavan Dhavam. Thus, within my vision, I will always behold the beautiful pastimes of Radha and Krishna. I beg you to make me a follower of the cowherd damsels of Radha. Please give me the privilege of devotional service and make me your own maidservant. This very fallen and lowly servant of Krishna prays, may I always swim in the love of Sri Radha and Govinda. Those are my The offenses against the holy name are as follows. 1, to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord. 2, to consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. 3, to disobey the orders of the spiritual master. 4, to blaspheme the Vedic literature or literature in pursuance of the Vedic version. 5, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna in imagination. 6, to give some interpretation on the holy name of the Lord. 7, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name of the Lord. 8, to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in the Vedas as fruit activities, karma kanda. 9, to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. 10, to not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy names and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success. Krishna Prema. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They are just like the desire trees who can fulfill the desires of everyone, and they are full of compassion for the fallen souls. All unconditional.
Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishruna amanina manadena kirtiniya sadahari. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in humble state of the mind, thinking oneself lower than the star in the street. One should be more tolerant than the tree and divide all the sins of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. Sri Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Tamaham bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham bhajami Enam Kanvandam Aravindanayatasham Bhagavatam Samasitam Buddhasundaram Kandan Agom Idamaniya Nisesha Shobham Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham bhajami Andani Asa Sakale Priya Priti Manti Vasyan Divam Dikayanti Tiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrasya Govindam
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which we can attain pure devotional service. I bow to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. Our only wish is to have our consciousness purified by the words emanating from his mouth. Attachment to the lotus feet is a perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord birth after birth. From him ecstatic prema emanates. By him ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual masters are the oceans of mercy, the friend of the poor, and the Lord and master of the devotees. O Lord, O Lord, O Master, be merciful unto us. Give us the shade of your lotus feet. Your fame is spread all over the three worlds. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma Bandhamu Savadhana Mate Jahara Prasade Bhai E Bhava Toriya Jai Jahara Prasade Bhai E Bhava Toriya Jai Krishna Prapti Hoy Jaha Hoy Te Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Koriya Kya Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Koriya Kya Ana Kori Ho Mane Asha Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttama Gati Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttama Gati E Prasade Pure Sarva Asha चक्षुदान दिलो जय जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से लो जय जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से। दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित, प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाशा जाते। वेदे गाय जहाँ चरित, श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु आधम जनार बंधु। श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु आधम जनार बंधु। लोकनाथ लोकेरा जीवाना, हा प्रभु करो दया देह मोरी पाद छाया। हा प्रभु करो दया देह मोरे पाद छाया। केवे जाश कुशु त्रिभुवाना, श्रीला प्रभुपाद पतित पावना। श्रीला गुरुदेव पतित पावना। जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा। जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने। नमः विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Syamasundar Radhe Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Shri Radhe Jaya Gaura Hari Jaya Gaura Hari Jaya Gaura Hari Jaya Gaura Hari Jaya Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam Jaya Radhe Shyam Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Vrindavana Dham Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Shri Radha Syamasundar ki Shri Radha Madhav ki
Divan Gayatri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai, Ananda Gauri Vaishnava Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Namacharya Haridas Thakur ki jai, Prem सतो श्री कृष्ण चंद्र प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। इस्कॉन देवी की फाउंडर आचार्य श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपी नाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की जय। मायापुर नवदीप धाम की जय। अयोध्या धाम की जय। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की जय। गंगा माई की जय। यमुना माई की जय। भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। जय लॉर्डशिप श्री श्री राधा श्यामसुंदर राधा माधव राधा वृंदावन चंद्र गौरा निताय पंचभक्त भगवान की जय। श्री श्री किशोर किशोर की जय। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असमन डिवोटीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असमन डिवोटीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असमन डिवोटीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू श्री गुरु एंड गवर्नमेंट। Let us be.
Is it about the same, or one's better than the other? Or, you know? I'm not sure. You know?
What happened? Which harmonium is the one to be used? Prabhu. But they're not. I tried.
Okay. I'm okay if we push out the wall and observe the distraction.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No problem. We can watch. Do you know which one that has one?
Let me see. I'm a little worried it might be rough on the bottom. Okay, sometimes they have, it's okay. There's no, sometimes, well, see, it does. That'll scratch. Maybe even one of those rugs, we can turn it upside down. Maybe put the top down that way. We don't, yeah, perfect. Yeah, we just put it. Okay. Is there a book? Do we have a book? Thanks. I have my phone, but it's so much nicer to have an actual book. Anyone play drum? Any drummers? Nobody? Anybody play kartals? Anybody clap hands? Okay, good. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Ballava Girivardhari Gopi Jana Ballava Girivardhari Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Chiravanachari Yamuna Chiravanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Pravirajagacharya Asto Tarasata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Pravirajagacharya Asto Tarasata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktisana Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavadini Ki Jai ISKCON BBT Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Namacharya Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Shri Radha Syamasundar Ki Jai Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the sum devotees. All glories to the sum devotees. All glories to the sum devotees. All glories, Shri Shri Guru and Garanga Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we're reading from Canto 3, Chapter 19. Text 24. First of all, I want to thank you for inviting me to Girls' Day at the Temple. Is it? The women power is good, but the lack of male power is not good. Yeah. Premanandi, you have to widen your preaching field. Like every day it's like this, or? Really? Every program? Can one of the ladies give me some water? Is it possible? Well, we know actually, Prabhupada said that, I think it's actually written, that, thank you, Prabhu. He said in every religious community you visit, the women are more active than the men. He said that, and it's true. And I think he mentions that women by nature, more devotional, I think more, he mentions particularly more inclined to like accept a supreme authority. You know, it's the idea of Krishna. And certainly bhakti, the idea of yoga of love is, I think, easier sometimes for women to connect with. But still, you know, there should be at least a few more men here. But we have to tell our colleagues, please. And thank you for the two of you being here, representing our half of the species. It's important. So we're reading from 3:19-24 I mentioned, so. Good. Vinasu svamayasu Vinastasu svamayasu Bhuyascha vrajjakeshavam Bhuyascha vrajjakeshavam Rusopaguhamano mum Rusopagumhamano mum Dadrishe vastitam bahi Dadrishe vastitam bahi Vinastasu svamayasu Bhuyascha vrajjakeshavam Rusopaguhamanu mum Manohum Dadrishe vastitam bahi Vinastasu svamayasu Bhuyascha vrajjakeshavam Rusopaguhamano mum Dadrishe vastitam bahi. Please chant. One more. Word meaning Svinatstasu, when dispelled. Svamayasu, his magic forces. Bhuya, again. Cha, and. Avraja, after coming into the presence. Keshavam, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Rusa, full of rage. Upaguhamanaha, embracing. Amum, the Lord. Dadrishe, saw. Avastitam, standing. Bahi, outside. Translation. When the demon saw his magic forces dispelled, he once again came into the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Keshava, and full of rage tried to embrace him within his arms to crush him. But to his great amazement, he found the Lord standing outside the circle of his arms. Please repeat. When the demon saw his magic forces dispelled, he once again came into the presence of the personality of Godhead, Keshava, and full of rage, tried to embrace him within his arms to crush him. But to his great amazement, he found the Lord standing outside the circle of his arms. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. In this verse, the Lord is addressed as Keshava because he killed the demon Keshi in the beginning of creation. Keshava is also a name of Krishna. Krishna is the origin of all incarnations, and it is confirmed in the Brahma Samhita that Govinda, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes, exists simultaneously in his different incarnations and expansions. The demon's attempt to measure the Supreme Personality of Godhead is significant. The demon wanted to embrace him with his arms, thinking that with his limited arms he could capture the Absolute by material power. He did not know that God is the greatest of the great and the smallest of the small. No one can capture the Supreme Lord or bring him under his control. But the demoniac person always attempts to measure the length and breadth of the Supreme Lord. By his inconceivable potency, the Lord can become the universal form, as explained in Bhagavad Gita. And at the same time, he can remain within the box of his devotees as their worshipable deity. There are many devotees who keep a statue of the Lord in a small box and carry it with them everywhere. Every morning they worship the Lord in the box. The Supreme Lord Keshava, or the personality of Godhead Krishna, is not bound by any measurement of our calculation. He can remain with his devotee in any suitable form, yet he is unapproachable by any amount of demoniac activities. Om Ganatamyanda Shajanan Anjana Shalakaya Chakshur Militamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. I don't remember there being such an echo in here. Has that always been like that? I think you need some sound adjustment here, because I don't remember that. It's very hard to hear. Is it here or is it? Yeah, it's not the mic. It's the speakers. Speaker. Yeah, okay. All right, so if it's unusual, it's okay, but if it's regular, we should take a look at it. Okay. Okay. Oh, maybe different microphone? Hare Krishna. A little better. Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Actually, I should mention, I think some of the ladies here, because their husbands are home watching the kids, so we have to give credit to them. Thank you, husbands, for sacrificing like that. But the other husbands, maybe there's no excuse. But anyway, it's nice that so many ladies here. Thank you, Prabhu. You kind of evened the odds when you came. We were noting how it was kind of like Girls' Day at the temple. So thank you for a few more boys here. It's good. Of course, you're not the body ultimately, but... Okay, so we're reading about Lord Varaha and his battle with Hiranyaksha. And he's getting close to, as I said, dispatch him. I think the demigods, some point there pray, dispatch him, finish him off quickly, because Hiranyaksha's created so many problems. Of course, he came, he was actually looking for the Lord. I want to fight him. Where's Vishnu? I want to fight him. So Lord Vishnu, Krishna, very kindly appeared in this very special form of Lord Varaha to fight with Hiranyaksha. And just a few verses before, Hiranyaksha, he actually was able to knock, I think, the Lord's club out of his hand, because Krishna's very dramatic. He likes drama. I mean, who would appear as a supreme bore if you didn't like drama, right? It's like, wow, what a costume, right? Like at Halloween, people like to get dressed up in different costumes. It's kind of fun, you know. Other girls like to dress up as like little fairies or princesses, right? The girls want to be a princess. All the boys want to be Spider-Man, right? Or something like that. So they dress up because it's fun. Well, even where does that come from? Well, Krishna has his various dresses. He enjoys dressing himself in different ways and appearing in different ways. So here, he appears in this amazing form of Lord Varaha. He has his battle with Hiranyaksha. And to make it more dramatic, at one point he drops his club, I think it's his club, from Hiranyaksha hitting him. And Hiranyaksha is described, he observes the rules of single conflict. And he says, okay, pick up your club again, which Lord Varaha, being enjoying the rasa, he gets even more angry that you think you're so good, I dropped my club and now you give it back to me. And then Hiranyaksha attacks him again, and he throws his weapon. So he throws his mace, I guess like a club. Later he throws his trident. Another change? I don't know. Yeah? Uh-huh. And use this to pick up there. Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah, so in other words, the room's not even picking up the microphone. Okay. That's not the most professional solution, but if it works. I was thinking just turn it off, but then I thought, what about if there's people at home? Okay. So this is a good temporary fix. Yes. Only temporary. Okay. Okay. Is that person a man? Well, that's explainable then. Then it fits the pattern. Perfectly understandable. You need a woman that knows how to fix this. You need a woman there on Saturday. Saturday there should be a woman there who knows what to do it. Online, okay. Well, that means all the men at home who let their wives come are hearing the class. That's why they let you come. This is highly manipulative. They sent you here so you couldn't understand, and they're at home hearing clearly. This is male exploitation. This is terrible. Okay, anyway, so we'll continue. So, Hiranyaksha throws his mace, and the Lord withstands that blow, doesn't affect him. and then he gives it back to him. Here, and Rakshak gets even more angry, and then he throws his trident. So then he tries all of his magic tricks, and he disappears, and he shows his magic. But then that doesn't work, so now he's appeared again, and then he comes and he tries to like grab Lord Varaha in his arms and crush him. And then as he's holding him, suddenly he's not there. He's outside. It describes in today's verse. He's surprised. So I think this is Krishna kind of saying to him, so you showed me all your magic tricks, let me show you some of mine. You know, it's just like with Lord Brahma, right? Lord Brahma came and used his mystic powers and took all the cowherd boys and all the calves and he put them away in a cave. And then Krishna was like, oh, okay, this is fun. You're playing like this, let me play. Poof, remanifests all of the cowherd boys, all of the calves, expanses them himself. And it's described their mothers and fathers were even more attracted to their children because it was now Krishna. So Krishna plays in this way. And we understand in the Bhagavatam, you know, the beautiful stories of the personality of Godhead. These are histories actually given to us. Sometimes people may read these. I remember in the airport years and years ago distributing some books, and one pilot stopped by and he had read something in the Bhagavatam. Somehow he picked up a book and he read something and he was kind of saying like, you believe this? I was standing nearby, a devotee was distributing a book to one person. He said, you don't want that book says this, you know, something. And I don't remember if the person walked away or whatever, but either way, he was incredulous. How was it possible? But here Prabhupada Purport is explaining that God, Krishna, He's beyond our perception. And I was thinking this is actually, in part, Krishna's giving me this verse this morning because one of the challenges I have is trying to understand, okay, I can kind of gather all the people are souls. Okay, there's billions of them. And okay, there's people on other planets. Okay, I can comprehend that. And okay, the trees are souls. But within each tree, there's so many insects. Within each insect, there's so many bacteria. So are those all individual souls too? I mean, how big is big? And that's just like on one tree. What to speak of the city of Naperville, what to speak of Illinois, what to speak of the United States, what to speak of the Earth planet, and all those creatures and all those jungles that people even haven't been able to even explore, what to speak of the bottom of the ocean, what to speak of other planets. How is it possible? How is it possible? So here Prabhupada's like, well, fool, he's talking to me here, I'll take this as personal instruction. By his inconceivable potency, the Lord can become the universal form, at the same time remain within the box of his devotees. He's unlimited. We cannot, says the demoniac person, or in our demoniac mentalities, we're attempting to measure the length and the breadth of the Supreme Lord, but it's not possible because he has inconceivable potencies. And it's reasonable to accept his inconceivable potencies when we know after, at least in terms of, say, modern science, I don't know what time they particularly date that, but say sometimes in the 1800s, till today, there's so many things even about our own bodies we don't know. Like we know there's so many devotees or people that you meet, they're research scientists. And we give them big prestige in our mind. He's a researcher, she's a research scientist. Wow. Well, what does that mean? It means they're trying to understand how God's doing everything, really. They may not accept God, but they're doing research, trying to understand, you know, how certain brain functions work. After studying for 150 years, we still don't know, you know. And, you know, how certain laws of physics work. And sometimes you read in the paper, there'll be, scientists just discovered some other bone that shows human beings were here for 100,000 years longer than they thought, or 50,000 more years than they thought. It's like, wow. You know, that's like the find of their life, and they're famous, and they travel, and they give speeches, and they pay for them to come because they found a bone to give a little more glimpse about how Krishna's actually doing everything. Isn't it? It's kind of interesting. And I mean, there's so many examples of that. So many diseases are there, and they do research. They spend millions and millions and millions of dollars to try to cure one disease, which is nice. It's a good thing. We don't want to We like to minimize the diseases that we suffer. But oftentimes, it's like they say, hit and miss. Let's try this medicine, let's try that medicine, maybe this chemical, maybe that chemical. And then they stumble across one that works. Like, oh, you know, like Thomas Edison, he made the light bulb. Well, he didn't make the light bulb. He just figured out how Krishna's energy works to create a light bulb. Krishna created it, he didn't create it, Krishna created it. He just stumbled across it. And sometimes you hear about, you know, great composers or even mathematicians or people, they're working with some problem, let's say mathematician for their entire life. There's some histories like this. I can't remember the name of some of these people, but you know, for years and years and years, and one day they're taking a shower and poof, it appears in their brain. Oh, that's the answer, you know? Or things like Mozart, some of these people talk about, the whole melody just appeared in their brain. They just like writing it down. So is that some chemical process going on in their mind, or where's that coming from? It's coming from Krishna, the supreme mystic. So here we're getting a little bit of a vision of how the supreme mystical person, he appears in this wonderful form, Lord Boar, and he's fighting with Hiranyaksha, who all the demigods are completely afraid of him. They're so powerful, but his Hiranyaksha's power is so much greater than that. And Lord Varaha's just kind of playing with him. And finally it's described, he hits him with his foot, and he's dead. And Lord Brahma immediately says, what a glorious death. Yogis are meditating for thousands of births and maybe millions of years on the lotus feet of the Lord, just like, you know, we come here to pray the lotus feet of the Lord. This demon gets hit in the head by the same foot. You know? So how fortunate, he says, what a, I can't remember the word he uses, I think he says glorious. What a glorious death. Let's see. Oh yes, Brahma, it's just a couple of verses later. Brahma admiringly said, he's admiring this demon, a nice word, admiringly said, oh, who could meet such a blessed death? So, everything Krishna does is like so auspicious for everybody. So, we're learning these histories about Krishna so we can give up our distractions. Premananda was describing this morning to me where she likes to chant japa and where she doesn't like to go because she's distracted. And she was saying she just turns off her phone because she's distracted. And I was thinking, okay, I'm hearing Krishna. Yes, I will try to turn off my phone when I'm chanting. Premananda just told me, thank you, I will try, I promise I'll try better. So we're learning to try to give up our materialistic ways and our different ways of being distracted from Krishna. And a big part of that is just like last night, those devotees were there with Shivaram Swami's books to help us be more and more immersed in Krishna. The Bhagavatam is there, of course, history after history and revelation of great sadhus and sages and saints, their understanding of Krishna. To help us minimize, become less distracted by the material world, and so that we can surrender to Krishna. And sometimes we think that's some kind of very esoteric thing. But I wanted to talk about this a little bit because it's not necessarily a big esoteric thing. It means day in and day out, and the ordinary things we do during the day we do for Krishna. And we do them in a way that's pleasing to Krishna. I know sometimes our movement is mostly composed of grihastas these days, and we often get this question, you know, I never lived in the temple where you do everything for Krishna, in theory at least. You know, I'm outside and I come to the temple on Saturday morning or I go to a program on Friday night, but what do I do the rest of the day? So how do I make it Krishna conscious? And the answer is really simple, which is just understand Krishna's the enjoyer of everything, do everything for him, right? Like you were in Alaska, right? So you should think, this cold is coming from Krishna. And my ability to do foolish things like take pictures in a pair of shorts as a student with a sign that says 40 degrees below zero. Okay? Who's giving me the ability to withstand this cold? It's Krishna. Who's giving the electricity to light the sign that says 40 degrees below zero? Who gave us the intelligence how to build a building that we can run into? Because we know if you stay outside in shorts and t-shirt at 40 degrees below more than 30 seconds, you're finished, right? So where is it all coming from? So be able to think like that. And to think that when I go to the office, I'm doing this to make money to maintain my body and the bodies of my family, and that's part of my responsibility as a devotee, and of course to try to give generously as best I can to the temple and to support Prabhupada's mission. And in addition to that, to think every single thing I meet during the day is an opportunity for me to surrender to Krishna. Every moment, every single moment is a chance. Am I choosing to act and speak and think and live in a way that's pleasing to Krishna? That right, he says, all that you do, Krishna doesn't say, Sunday afternoon, Friday night, and Saturday morning, if it's your turn to come to the temple and your husband is at home with the kids, is a chance to focus on me. He doesn't say that, right? He says, all that you do for me. Everything you do. So we want to try to come to that stage. And it begins by being attentive to very, very ordinary things that we do. Just for instance, we have our 4 vows, those that take initiation, right? We vow, okay, no illicit sex, no intoxication, no gambling, no meat eating. And sometimes, a little bit, we become a little proud of those things. We think, I took these vows, you haven't taken the vows yet. Or, you know, we use these terms that Prabhupada would use in kind of a scientific way. We sometimes use them in an arrogant way. We're devotees, they're karmis. Right? You hear that. So then you have to think, okay, so I'm free from any fruit of desire? That's the definition of karmi. A person absorbing karma, karmi, they're looking for fruitive results. So to the extent that we're still looking for fruitive results, we're just as much a karmi as anybody else is in this world. And if we think that we're devotees and someone else is not a devotee, well, excuse me, I don't think that's what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. That may be other schools of thought, you know, you're with God or you're not with God, you're saved or you're not, you're in heaven or you're in hell. That's not our philosophy. Our philosophy is everybody, every living entity is eternally a devotee of Krishna. We just forgot. Otherwise, why is Krishna wasting his time with this big demon? Just send him to some hellish planet and be done with him. Never do, but Krishna comes. He comes again and again, time and time again. As he says, to protect the devotees, to annihilate the demons. But when he annihilates the demons, what does he do? Oh, what a glorious death, Lord Brahma says. Right? What is the term again? Like glorious, I looked it up. What was it? Blessed. What a blessed death. Nice word. We use that word, but it's a word, at least it's so much affiliated with the Judeo-Christian tradition. Blessed, you know, they use that term a lot. So Lord Brahma says, what a blessed death. So even Krishna kills, it's a blessing. So who are we to think that we're so special that he doesn't give his mercy to everybody else? Even Krishna casts them, describes in the Bhagavad Gita, sometimes they're cast into lower and lower species. Okay? That's pretty hellish. Krishna says they're cast by me again and again and again in a lower species. Who goes with that person? So like, yeah, I'm going to cast you into a lower species, but I'm going to be there, try to deliver you all along. And you can be a big, big demon, I'll play with you. I'm going to kick you in the head and finish you, but it's the most blessed death. So these things are so important. So thinking about these vows that we take, we want to try to please Krishna. So just like people take a wedding vow, right? I mean, it's a heavy vow. I promise to be with you for the rest of my life. Of course, we know sometimes there's separation. It's the age of quarrel. But putting that aside, you know, people take vows. I will serve you. I will protect you. I will love for you. I will carry you and care for you in health and in sickness. That's a heavy commitment to make. And it's a statement to the other person, I'm going to do this because I'm prioritizing pleasing you, isn't it? So when we take vows, no illicit sex, no intoxication, no meeting, no gambling, that's we're promising to Krishna, I'm doing these things because I know they displease you, and I'm going to avoid these things as best I possibly can. And even if I sometimes fall from that standard, I'm going to pick myself up and I'm going to try again until I do it ideally. We read last night about Rupa Goswami, right? The ideal, he sleeps 2 hours a night. We're never going to come to that level. We shouldn't try. But we can minimize, we can try to not waste extra time. So we take these vows, but we should be very careful to remember those vows are the grossest manifestation of the more important thing, which is truthfulness, cleanliness, austerity, which I think sometimes is a nice, more modern term, maybe self-discipline. You tell people we lead an austere life, they go, ooh. You tell them we're practicing self-discipline, they go, oh, cool, isn't it? Yeah, my 5-year-old's in karate class. I know all about self-discipline, right? So self-discipline, I find it helps communicate that term. So truthfulness, cleanliness, austerity, or self-discipline, and compassion, you know. So sometimes, again, we know the Gita, Krishna says the first quality of knowledge is humility. So part of that humility is understanding I'm working towards manifesting these things outside and inside, cleanliness, truthfulness, compassion. But we have to be careful, not just that I come to the temple and I worship Krishna, and then I go outside and I'm like mean to my neighbor, or I yell unnecessarily at my child, or I chastise them in a way that's not really so much for them, because we know sometimes children need boundaries and sometimes they need to be chastised. You know, they run in the middle of the street, maybe they need to be chastised to understand that, oop, I'm not going to do that again, Mommy's very mad at me. But we have that challenge. Are they being chastised because I'm releasing my emotional pent-up whatever, negativity? Or, as Prabhupada said, even he said, my father would chastise me sometimes. He said, but he would first apologize. Even Mahaprabhu's father sometimes would chastise him, so I have to chastise you. So Prabhupada talks about he had very deep love for his father. He grew up with that impression that my father is taking care of me, and sometimes I'm naughty, so he corrects me, but he's doing it out of love. So we want to try to come to that same platform in everything we do, understanding that that's what it means to serve Krishna. I remember I have this vision, I'm not going to mention the place, but there's one temple that I visit sometimes. And years ago, they had, pujaris were living in some very humble, stretching the word, really bad little, kind of like shed near the temple. And I remember one time seeing the door open, they threw out some water that was probably from some, I don't know, dirty dishes or puja or God knows what, right outside the door. And these people were like the pujaris. So they're thinking they're clean, right? They chant the mantras, right? They do it, and they got it down. Like there's a pujari class going on now, right? You get it down. But is it really clean? Isn't it? Is it really clean? So, if we want to please Krishna, we took these vows, one of which is cleanliness. So you know where I'm going with this. You walked in at the wrong time this morning. So, we have to be very attentive as devotees. Like we know probably there's a beautiful story with Srila Prabhupada, many stories like this, but there's one comes to mind. Prabhupada went on his morning walk one day, and as often would happen, very often, the big sannyasis, and short sannyasis too, they would go for a morning walk with Prabhupada. Sometimes ladies would go, but many times a lot of the ladies would stay back and clean Prabhupada's rooms. And Prabhupada had very high standard of cleanliness. So they would clean everything so very, very carefully. And Prabhupada came back one day, there was a little box, maybe some, Didi Prasadam or something, maybe just for notes or pens on his desk. Prabhupada opened the box. He looked around the room first to see, how things had been cleaned. Then he sat down and he opened this box. He wiped his finger on the inside of the box. The inside of the box. And there was dust. And he held up his finger. He said, "Who has cleaned this room?" And there's another story. Prabhupada was sitting giving class. I think he must have been giving class or kirtan, so it must have been class. I have to go back and check. And there was a lady who was cleaning the floor, devotee. And Prabhupada said, no, not like this. He got off the Vyasasan, got down on his hands and knees, and showed her how to clean the floor. He's the guru. He's the founder acharya. He's a sannyasi. He's an elderly man. These are his young disciples somewhere in their 20s. He got off the Vyasasan on his hands and knees to show them how to clean the floor. And we also understand that Prabhupada said, actually, it's not your service to clean the floor. It's my service to clean the floor. Because this is my service to Krishna. This is my temple for Krishna. He said like that. You're helping me. So we should think like that. This is, maybe for me it doesn't matter so much, but for Prabhupada it matters. So we have to be very, very attentive to this in our homes, in our cars, and there's always room for improvement. You know, the ideal is that we can all do better. But it's so important. Prabhupada said that devotees should be like famous for their cleanliness. Famous. And Prabhupada also gave, he gave an example of this. He said when he was a boy in India going to school, he said the chairs were so clean, he used this expression, the chairs were so clean you wanted to sit down. Imagine that. It's so clean you want to sit down, right? So in the same way, when people come to our temples, it should be so clean they want to walk in the door. Like we walked in this morning. I was just in the Chicago temple, you know, Kishori. It's an old building. We know old buildings, you know, there's always problems with the roof, and there's this and there's that. Okay, do the best you can. We still should, you know, fix this. But you all don't have that excuse. You do not have that excuse. Sorry. Okay? So I walked in the temple this morning in the entrance, I was a little shocked. You know, there's like signs taped on the wall. You know, this is not an elementary classroom. Maybe at home, right? Your little kids, you're 6, you know, probably, your oldest son is what, 15 now? Yeah, you don't let him like tape things in the living room anymore. Maybe when he was 6, but now he's 13. What to speak of an adult? You know, you don't just tape things on the wall. And, you know, there's the reception counter. What does it mean, reception? Where you receive people, right? So the entranceway to your home, do you receive people with a mess? Sometimes you hear, like you follow a little bit, you know, like India, we're so intimately connected with India, and some big chief minister or the prime minister's coming to some city. They spend a month cleaning up the city. Even like a little bit of a kind of a perversion of that. In China, before the Olympics, I'd heard the devotees got a phone call from their friends in the government and said, you know, we know you're here, we know you chant, you know we know, you know that we know that you know that we know that we're watching you. And we'd appreciate it if you weren't visible for the next month. Because we don't want the fact that there's Hare Krishnas in whatever city in China to become an issue, right? Reasonable, live with that. So they're, in their way of thinking, they're cleaning things up. France is having their Olympics, they clean the whole city. You know, Prime Minister Modi comes, they put down new roads, they plant new trees, they knock down buildings, they widen the road, you know, they move, maybe sometimes a little too much, they move people out of the way because he's coming, we want to, that's just a little teeny weeny prime minister for a few years of a little teeny country and a little teeny planet and a little teeny galaxy in the one universe out of many, many, many universes. But a temple of Krishna, the Supreme Lord, and are we making sure that it's neat and clean, right? So like the reception counter, I wouldn't want to be received by that counter. It's a mess. Somebody left a plastic bag on there. You look, there's tilak. Like, don't put that stuff on me. It's a big mess. It's spilled all over. There's like, it's, you know, it's not a reception counter. It's maybe a deception counter or a distraction counter or a don't come in this room counter. You know, and there was a bunch of signs. I was recently in another temple. I was so embarrassed. I was like, this is Prabhupada's temple? This was like 10 days ago. I walked in and there were signs taped on the wall. Come and celebrate Gaur Purnima 2024. I was thinking, am I in a time warp? Or maybe New Jersey is like months behind the rest of the country. Or didn't Gaur Purnima pass a few months ago? Why is this sign still here? Because it says 2024, so they're definitely not planning ahead. Right? It's not that they're so good, they're advertising for next year. So what are they thinking? What are they thinking? They're not thinking. They're not thinking. They're not thinking. They're not thinking. We're not thinking. Because when we walk in the temple, we should think this is Krishna's temple. People are attracted or repulsed by, just like we built this beautiful building and now we're moving into the next phase to make the front even more attractive. But if you have a beautiful, attractive front, and then you walk in the front door and the reception is a mess, are you going to be inspired to go further? Or I walked upstairs, there's like a donation thing facing the other way, in the middle of the floor. I'm thinking like, okay, there must be some strategy here. And the sign that says no one should be allowed to go upstairs. I was thinking, okay, so the sign is tilted like this. They must be thinking, because people are walking up the stairs at a 45-degree angle. So we'll just, this sign is broken, but, what would Prabhupada say? Prabhupada, I think Prabhupada himself commented one time, or else one of the devotees who are traveling with him, I can't remember. Everywhere Prabhupada goes, there's a smell of fresh paint. Everywhere he went. Why? Because Prabhupada's coming. Get rid of that trash. Paint this room. Fix this up. Put down new carpet, or more often than not, take up the carpet and clean it and polish the sand. Sand the floors and clean the windows and make sure the windows open and close and make sure that when Prabhupada comes. And Prabhupada would be the first to say, well, I'm just the servant of Krishna. Don't clean it for me, clean it for Krishna. You should clean it for me, he would say, because I'm the guru. I represent Krishna. I'm teaching you how to care for Krishna. But Krishna is here. And we shouldn't just think, well, he's there on the altar. He doesn't see what's behind the curtain. Or when he's on the second floor, he doesn't see the first floor. Or he doesn't see the third floor. Or he doesn't go home with me. Right? And again, I'm not the perfect example. Sometimes, please don't look at my car sometimes. It's also, I try my best, but you got to keep on. But we should think like that. It's Krishna's car. It's Krishna's car, it's Krishna's lawn, it's Krishna's house, it's Krishna's temple, it's Krishna's building. And not that we think, oh, I got to rush in the temple, I got to rush upstairs to see Krishna. I don't have time to make sure that it's neat and clean downstairs. Just like a small thing. Somebody has some stuff like in a grocery bag, which they left right in the middle of the, 5 more seconds to fold the bag, stick it in the shoe rack where it looks neat and clean, and it won't distract everybody. But why don't we think about things like that? So these are so important for us. Again, so many stories with Srila Prabhupada. I was just in one temple and they had the painting of Lord Chaitanya cleaning the Gundicha temple. And we all know the story. Lord Chaitanya, so many hundreds of devotees, dozens at least, maybe hundreds, and they're putting their pile of dirt in one place, which is smaller than what Lord Chaitanya cleaned up. So maybe you can think, okay, well, he's God, what do you expect? Well, yeah, that's a little lazy. We should think, he's showing us how important it is. Lord Chaitanya is God himself when he comes and cleans the temple. It's described in the spiritual world, the gopis, right? You've heard, they're always cleaning. There's no dirt, but they're always cleaning. Well, here there's dirt. So we should always be cleaning, isn't it? And we know, just like we're trying to help our minds be peaceful so we can think about Krishna. And so, we don't want to be distracted by the phone or by this or that, so many things. And Krishna, help me do better. And we should think, let's make sure there aren't distractions. People are coming to his temple. Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj beautifully explained that our preaching should be to remove obstacles between a soul and Krishna. What's the obstacle? Someone's afraid of God, we should help them understand God's your best friend. Someone is thinking, I can't give up tea. We hear that sometimes from our Indian congregational members. And as a person born in a white male, it's like, tea. Your problem is tea? You're worried about your impurities because you are attracted to tea? So we all have our obstacles. We tell that person, that's okay. Have your tea, wash your mouth, come and see Krishna. I'm sure he'll be happy to see you. Jagannath goes out in the street, right? We have these beautiful Rath Yatra parades, and there's like drunk people and, as they say, scantily dressed people and people chewing on a hot dog. Jagannath just rides right by with a big smile. They all get darshan. Isn't it? He's so kind to make it easier for people. When they come here, it's our job as his disciples, we as his devotees, we have to make it easier for people. So please think like that. You have a beautiful new temple, but if we don't change the way we're taking care of this building, within a year or two, it is not going to be a beautiful new temple. And we all know they don't build things the way they used to. You know, this is drywall. You put a hole in drywall. You know, you hit drywall and it's a hole. It's not brick. Right? Brick will last forever. And I've told Premananda, you know, there's always room for improvement. You know, the paint here, somebody made a mistake. It's flat paint in many of the rooms. Flat paint is not good. It's a detail here, but it's really bad for institutional buildings because you can't wash it. So for now, we've got it. Later, when they repaint everything, there'll be some like satin or semi-gloss or something. But for now, we have to like really endeavor to try to keep it clean. And neat is so important. Sometimes we clean, but then it's not neat. I mean, like there's the table down below. I don't know who it is, Haribo Foods, which is wonderful. I'm a bit of a fan of Haribo Foods. But there's 3 empty boxes of their milk or their samples or whatever, just in the middle of the floor. Well, I mean, we know Haribo, the milk is, I think it's prasadam and it's sacred and all that, but are the empty boxes sacred? So much so that we leave them on the floor? Maybe people trip over them, they get purified? You know, what are we thinking? Obviously not thinking. I brought these boxes and I leave the empty box. Well, what are we thinking? We're not thinking. But that's the point. Prabhupada says Krishna can appear in a little box or in the universal form. He's anywhere, he's everywhere, and we have to learn to see him like that. Not that he's only here, but he's not outside. Prabhupada talks about people sometimes, you know, they'll go to church and they'll confess, and then you go outside, you do the same sin. So same way we shouldn't think we come here, we have to clean the altar really nicely, but it doesn't matter the first floor, or the second or third or fourth floor, or my car. It's all Krishna's. So we should be careful about that. And make sure that we don't think, sometimes we do these different types of, for lack of a better word, I'll say ritualistic cleanliness, which is important. There's, you know, mystical cleanliness through the mantras and things like that. But what if, you know, you sit in a dirty place and you chant your mantras? We haven't made the full connection. So, maybe I'll leave it at that. It's 8:30 if there's any questions or any comments on anything. And please, because this gets back to my earlier point, being Krishna conscious is not just some type of mystical thing. I remember Mukunda Raj, it's in the Leelamrita, he talks about how he was so impressed by Prabhupada because he was so down to earth. There was a story I heard recently, one of the early days when Prabhupada was very accessible, so some young woman, young girl, you know, probably late teenager, early 20s, came to see Prabhupada, and she walked in. I guess they told her, yes, you can go in to see him. He was sitting and teaching some devotee, or going over the bookkeeping with one of the devotees in the temple. You know, how much did you spend on this? Why did we spend that? So she came in and she was sitting there, and after a few minutes, she said, paraphrasing, something to the effect of, I came to learn about God, and you're just talking about accounting, or something like that. And Prabhupada told her, Prabhupada said, you've come to the right place, sit down. So she's thinking, I came for all the, you know, esoteric truths. And there's another story, early, I think it was in New York, Prabhupada was first teaching these people to chant this one. Again, it was a young woman. She raised her hand, maybe it was a man, said, when I chant Hare Krishna, I see a blue light. Like, you know. And Prabhupada said, do not worry, continue chanting, it'll pass. Or it'll go away, something like that. Don't worry, it'll go, you know. So, you know, it's not like, wow, I came to the deity, I came to see the deity. Sometimes, you know, devotees would come, especially in the early days, they didn't understand these things so much. I think this was in Vrindavan, maybe Mayapur. They went up, they said, Prabhupada, there's someone in the temple, he's rolling around and like groaning, like he's manifesting, we read, you know, these ecstatic symptoms of love of God. And Prabhupada said, go show him a stick and see if he moves. You know, of course they came, they showed him the stick, he got up and left. Other times, Prabhupada, you know, they said, just ignore him. And as soon as the person realized nobody's looking at me, nobody's watching me, they just get up and walk away disappointed. So it's a practical thing. You know, it's the most esoteric thing and it's the most practical thing. It's the most transcendental thing and it's the most immanent thing, if that's the right word. I think immanent, you know, in this world. So Krishna consciousness is, you know, so very wonderful. So we should try to make sure that we're attentive, you know, to our chanting, but also to our living. You know, because we're chanting, "Oh my Lord, O energy of the Lord, please engage me in your service." Then we put the beads down, then we have to think, well, I'm a servant, and this is His place. And we have to make it cared for nice and neatly for Him. Okay? So on their way out, and sometimes it's like so overwhelming, you think, I mean, I've been to temples sometimes, and it's like, oh gosh, I can't stay for the rest of my life and try to improve things. I can't do it. But I can pick up that piece of paper. I can move this chair out of the way. I can say something to one person, hey, can you help me? Let's go, whatever. I got 5 minutes, let's go wash one pot. I've got 10 minutes, you know, or I've got $10. Nobody else has seen that sign, I can fix that sign. You know, I've got a screwdriver in my car, I can tighten that thing. You know, maybe I'm not the maintenance person, but I can do this little thing. Same way we shouldn't think, and then I'll end. Someone comes to the temple, we shouldn't think, well, I'm not the greeter. They're the greeter, they have the badge greeter. So I should be unfriendly, because that's not my service. Right, would you think like that? You wouldn't think like that. No, I'm a servant, whatever Krishna wants. You know? You want me to go here, you want me to go there, you want me to stand up, you want me to sit down? I'm Krishna's servant. Whatever's needed. Let me be Krishna's servant. And we definitely shouldn't think, oh, now I have second initiation. Now I can tell everyone what to do. Prabhu, did you notice that mess? Clean it. We should think, now I have second initiation. I'm supposed to be like Brahman. That means cleanliness, socham. So I should clean it. Now I'm a Brahman means now I've been trained to see that it's not clean. I should clean it. I should try to inspire others. You know? We are like the ultimate anti-caste society. I think sometimes people get a little confused, you know. We're anti-caste. We want to be the servant. Lord Chaitanya said, I'm not a Brahmana. I'm not a sannyasi. I'm not this, I'm not this, I'm not this. I'm the servant of 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 the gopis. So where else? So there's the gopis and their servants and their servants and their servants and their servants and their servants. And Prabhupada, his servants, and we're their servants. So, very exalted, but that means we seek Krishna everywhere and we do everything we can to try to serve Him nice, as best we can. But we don't get discouraged that I don't do so good all the time, and sometimes maybe you don't have time to pick up that one piece of paper. You promise in your heart, next time I'm going to pick up 2 pieces of paper. Right? Maybe I'm late for work, I got 10 minutes, the boss wants, blah, blah. Okay, I can't do it today, but I promise you, Krishna, I'll do it tomorrow. And make sure tomorrow, like they say, tomorrow never comes. Make sure tomorrow never comes. Tomorrow should come tomorrow, or at least the next day. Okay? Any questions? Or comments or discussion? Yes. I hope those of you at home don't simply have your screen off. I hope your screen is off because you're quickly cleaning the kitchen a little better.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much. It's a very sweet and beautiful verse, and you have brought both sweetness as well as a little chastisement, which is needed. Just want to quickly share. I'm appreciating Krishna's timing as we hear.
Timing.
Yeah. We just had 2 weeks of Gita camp, intense Gita camp. It's just done yesterday evening. They had the Gita Camp Expo, and right after that, the home program. So I'm sure the reception desk, I'm not trying to justify, but I'm just saying. But in that process, Krishna's timing for you to, you know, be here and observe all that. Anyway, for all of us to get the deeper essence of these principles. It's not just, I know that, let me just, you know, ritualistically go ahead, but really understand and remind ourselves deeply about them. So, thank you for sharing.
Yeah, we shouldn't think it's not my service. I mean, We can't do everything. We're very, very, very limited. And I mean, sometimes I get emails and I write back to people, I say, you know, I can't help on this. I have no influence there. Why don't you try this? Why don't you try that? So it's not that we can really do everything. You know, it's not every one of us in charge of temple maintenance, but we can. The temple needs to be maintained better because people are not thinking about it, are messing it up. If nobody was messing it up, then there wouldn't be anything to clean up, right? So at least we have to make sure we're not contributing to the problem. And you're right, sometimes it's very busy, you know, after a Ratha Yatra festival or Janmashtami, you know, you can't walk into the kitchen the day after Janmashtami, and I mean, ideally we should. People stayed up all night, it should be spotless, but sometimes you can't do that. But yeah, we just need to be more aware.
On the translation, as you're reading, it's very sweet. I was just reflecting on that. When we start the bhakti process.
For me, pull it a little closer.
Is this better, Prabhu?
Yeah, perfect.
Prabhu asked me to keep it away. So
no, it's okay, but there's more echo, but I can hear.
Yeah. So here Hiranyaksha is trying to embrace the Lord and he lets him and then he disappears. So it's actually sweet. Of course, I don't know what Hiranyaksha is thinking, but I'm thinking for myself, I used to have this kind of attitude which we have for material pursuits. Okay, I know this is the goal. I'm just going to, you know, put my 150% endeavor and I'm just going to capture Krishna the way I was, you know, endeavoring and trying all my material pursuits. And it seems like I got Krishna, but then no, he's away. Of course, I don't know how much of demoniac or non-demoniac my heart is, but I'm seeing the similarity of in the sadhaka stage, we have similar thing. We want to capture Krishna, but at the same time, Krishna lets us understand and make us humble. No, I'm sorry. But at the same time, he's letting us access and approach him, and he's giving these glimpses, which is like, I'm thinking really sweet. He doesn't have to do that with Hiranyaksha. He's like, okay, you're done, and like, you know, whatever. But it's just that sweetness and mercy that's really very touching.
Yeah, it probably comments that in the prayers to the 6 Goswamis, they are, where is Radha? Where is Krishna? Are they in the forest? Are they on Govardhan Hill? And Prabhupada comments that, particularly in our line, that's the mood. That we should never think that I have possessed Krishna or captured Krishna. And we know even, I mean, in the Leela with the gopis in the rasa dance, he disappeared. And if I remember correctly, reading it recently, it's because they became a little proud, even the gopis. So, you know, we should be very careful to think, okay, again, now I'm a devotee, now I have a spiritual name, now I have a thread, or I'm chanting the mantra, or, you know, now I have some position, I'm so important. Because, I mean, what are we? There's that nice story with Tamal Krishna Maharaj in the early years. I think he was made temple commander, maybe president, some position. And he asked Prabhupada, well, I'm afraid I'm going to become proud. You know, that's that nice story, Prabhupada. I don't know the exact, but he basically told him, he said, you know, within the whole spiritual world, there's a small part of it is this material world. Within the material world, there's so many universes. Within that universe, there's one planet, Earth. On that one planet Earth, there's so many countries. Within all those countries, there's one United States. Within one United States, there's so many cities. Within that one city of Los Angeles, there's so many streets. On that one street, there's so many houses. In that one house, there's Tamal Krishna, who's thinking he's something big and special. You know, it's just like, okay, we get things in perspective. So, yeah, it's important to keep things in perspective. Which is why sometimes, you know, people in superior positions, the guru, the acharyas, sometimes, you know, parents, you know, sometimes they chastise. But we always have to make sure that chastisement is done in a way that actually helps people advance. Because it's a very thin line of chastising out of, there's gratification of having power. I was watching somebody recently outside a window, and you could tell they were maybe a homeless person or a very poverty-stricken situation. And they were whistling and kind of making some loud noises, and I was just thinking, to some extent, they're manifesting their power. I have the power to whistle and to fill this space. I don't have much power. I'm not President of the United States. I can't, send armies or whatever. But I can fill this space with sound. That's my power. So we all have this materialistic desire to manifest our power. So we have to be very, very careful how we use our power. I just wrote an article in ISKCON News, and if you look at ISKCON News, ISKCONnews.org, about cultic behaviors. And now we have to be very careful about misusing our power and careful the way we deal with others. They're very important. Yeah, so we accept chastisement of superiors to help us understand how to do better. And our own selves, we have to be very, very careful. Because sometimes people get chastised and they go away. Or sometimes people are chastised and sometimes it creates a very unhealthy situation. There was recently an article in the New York Times about an ISKCON ashram and the person that was in charge. And the woman had a whole story about her, she felt she was mistreated. We did an investigation in ISKCON. We determined she was mistreated. And the person in charge has got all kinds of things that happens to be in this case a she has to do to kind of get rectified. And we'll see if she does all that. But we have to be very, very, very careful how we interact with each other and with Krishna. Yeah. Any other questions or comments? If you get a chance, you can ask him, how do you tolerate 40 below weather? And imagine 3 hours a day of daylight for months, and sometimes you don't even see the sun because it's cloudy. And I don't think it goes up on the horizon, right? It's just kind of like that, isn't it? Yeah, it just appears. Because he was in Alaska for 2 years. And he's not originally from Sweden or something like that. He's from Nasik, right? Which is more likely to be 140 than 40 below, right? So somehow or other he was telling me yesterday, he said, I got through because I chanted Hare Krishna. By chanting japa helped him connect with Krishna and deal with the trouble. And I asked him, I said, well, they must have a lot of trouble with, students, depression and things like that. He said, right, it's a big problem. Probably have, I don't know, more counselors per students than other places, because you don't see the sun, it becomes depressing. And just tie it back to this, if things aren't clean, it also becomes depressing. I was depressed when I walked in and looked at the reception desk. So please think about that. Okay? Yeah. One last thing, a detail thing. Somebody should, I don't know, I'll say to Premananda. But you walk in, and most people go up the steps to get to the temple, right? Has anybody peeked underneath that staircase as you walk by? Take a look, and you may not notice it, right? Because when you at a place, you don't notice, oh, that old thing. But fresh eyes, they see things that maybe we don't. So when we come to the temple, or when anything in Christian consciousness, we have to try to see from the eyes of a person who's first approaching or doesn't regularly approach, because they will see things maybe that we don't see. Maybe we go in the restroom and I'm making this up now, I haven't been there. We notice, the wastebasket is broken. We don't really care. It's always been like that, right? I was at one temple, gosh, I was at one temple years ago in the men's ashram, and I pulled back the curtain. There was one of those typical ISKCON 5-gallon buckets that we use for everything, right? And the shower was dripping, drip, 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 pretty strong drip. The 5-gallon bucket was full of water and overflowing into the bottom. So I talked to the devotee that I thought was maybe kind of in charge of these things, and I said, I was just I don't know if you know, there's a shower and it's dripping and it's overflooded. The response I got was, oh, it's been there for a long time. I'm not exaggerating. That's the truth. So it's like, how are people going to be attracted? You know? I mean, seriously, do you want to give your life over to people where you pull the shower curtain back and they can't even fix the drip? And I'm supposed to trust you with my heart and my soul and my mind and my future and my eternity? Are you inspired? No way. It's one other obstacle to overcome. So let's make sure we present everything in Krishna consciousness. You have this beautiful new temple Krishna gave you. Please take care of it for him. Okay? Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. And I didn't talk about that topic because it's Girls' Day at the temple. I wasn't picking on all the Vaishnavis, since you happen to be here today.